Another cold night in Southeast Texas, and right now more of our neighbors are without shelter and forced to endure the elements. Increased homelessness is another casualty of COVID-19. KFDM's Angel San Juan joins us tonight in the studio to tell us what these men and women are facing. Angel?
The pandemic is not only making people sick, but also robbing them of their economic well-being. That's why more Southeast Texans are now living on the streets, adding to their struggles. Because of COVID, fewer folks are willing to offer them help. No longer is homelessness in Southeast Texas hidden in the shadows. Yes, there are still men and women under bridges, like along this stretch of Interstate 10 in Beaumont, but they are also camped out in the open, several gathering in this field between Babes of Harris Park and a convenience store.
They have nowhere else to go. It's horrible out here.
James Robertson says COVID cost him his livelihood.
I've been homeless since, and it's been, man, I tell you, it's been a struggle.
A struggle Tiffany Jamison shares. She too blames the pandemic for her situation.
I'm homeless because I got evicted and I can't get a place.
Jamison turned 40 this week, but she says she has no reason to celebrate the milestone. Jamison sadly tells us that instead of receiving birthday wishes, society is shunning her.
Very hard. It's very hard with COVID now because they think we got COVID. They'll walk back from it, they'll pass like, they don't want to talk to us and nothing like that. They don't even acknowledge us.
And this coming at a time of year when those living on the streets need warm hearts, not a cold shoulder.
It's cold out here and don't nobody care.
Did you get those jeans?
There is one man who cares, Eric Ardoin. He's made the plight of the homeless his priority for the past 5 years.
Foot warmer, put them in your shoes.
Yes.
Once homeless himself, Ardoin now spends much of his time delivering clothes, gloves, blankets, snacks, and tents.
Right now with the COVID, I'm even passing out masks. Because they have to protect themselves out there too. They're not immune to this.
Ardoin says because of COVID, there are now more homeless in Southeast Texas. He estimates just by the amount of men and women he's feeding, the numbers have more than doubled.
The face of homelessness or the circumstances surrounding homelessness is starting to change in our community. I'm finding people out there that were displaced from work. Not only that, but also as a result of that, depression, anxiety, frustration. Some of that leads to drug abuse and drug use. So, this COVID is really affecting everybody negatively.
Ardoin has a small army of soldiers confronting this challenge, including longtime friend Roy Schenkel.
Eric came through the same treatment center. He was homeless too, and we connected right then.
But both men admit the homeless situation is much worse now, and those living on the streets face greater obstacles.
We try to do all we can to make it a little better and show the less fortunate that they are loved and try to give them hope.
But that's becoming harder to do. With COVID cases rising and temperatures and donations dropping, this could be a dire winter for our growing homeless population.
There are people that were out here on the front lines, but because of COVID have kind of backed up a little bit. So I don't think there's quite as many of us out here helping them.
You need some more socks?
But Ardoin says Beaumont now has a homeless coalition. Councilman Mike Getz is spearheading an effort to renovate 2 properties the Salvation Army owns into shelters. Robertson says scenes like this should not be as prevalent as they are in America.
Nowhere in the world we should be last place. We should have this many homeless people out here suffering the way we suffering out here, knowing that we taking care of the world.
Jamison says her birthday wish is to celebrate her 41st birthday next year with a home.
We need help. We need people to help us too.
Relief that can't come soon enough as more of our neighbors find themselves out in the cold. Eric Ardoin's ministry is Warm Hands, Warm Hearts. You can help him help the homeless by dropping off donations on his porch. He will distribute them. His address is 2655 Harrison Street. That's in Beaumont's Old Town neighborhood. You can also reach him by calling him at 409-499-7791. Tiffany?
Thanks, Angel.